Good evening.
Good evening.
And
Your
since
birthday's the same day as Mr. Fridley's, by the way, right?
no, it's really, well, it was this year in our admin meeting. It's really close, but Jane has a birthday coming up on Saturday.
Thank you, Dr.
You're very
Fulton.
welcome. You're very
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Yeah, I'm not going to be the only one thrown under the bus right now. We celebrated Mr. Fridley's milestone birthday last week, so we had a good time with that. We did. We really did. Yes, we did. It was good. So we wanted to make it special for you.
You did.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. So welcome to our Rolla Junior High plan. We'll try and go through this as quickly and painlessly for you as we can. And you're going to see the same format, but I kind of like our bulldog and our colors. So the first thing that we have for you, will you pass out those handouts? And this is hard to see, but everything is color-coded. Mr. Storms will get you a copy. Is our placemat from 1718. Our school works together in every department to create a plan, and I have taken that plan and organized it as usual within the district plan. So everything that's color-coded in blue, we have met, but it's something we're going to continue doing. Everything in black is met and will be going away or change its face for the next plan, and everything in red is something that we didn't meet, and we'll be addressing those things. Whenever I look at this plan from last year, one of the things that we have done very well at doing over the last few years is increasing our parent engagement involvement. We have a parent Facebook page that not only does Mrs. Sperry as our leader operate, I also moderate as well. But we try to understand that parents can't come to everything that we have. So when we have important events, we stream them live. We stream live this year and last year our Veterans Day Assembly. We'll stream live some of our meetings. I will stream live from our upcoming school dance that the parents are doing, just so parents can see what we're doing. And every now and then when I get a free evening, I will sit down and finally upload all of the pictures off my phone and start putting them out there for parents to see, and they seem to like that. Our Veterans Day Assembly was viewed over 200 times by parents who would never have the chance to come into our building, and I think that's important for them to see the good things that we do. And so one of the other things that we have done very well with is conducting our parent and student surveys, and all of that information goes into the creation of this plan at all levels. And whenever we talk about our highly qualified staff, one of the things that we are blessed to have Christopher and Jeannie housed in our building, but with Miss Strain and Mrs. Spurgeon, they are always there to support our staff. If they call, they're there to help them integrate the technology, because we are blessed to have met our goal in 3, that we have a Chromebook cart. It says laptop cart, but we got rid of those, and iPad carts in every core classroom at the current time. And I'll go over those numbers with you in just a little bit. One of the things that we would like to continue to strive for that we did not meet was to put a co-teaching, or CWC, which is a class within a class teacher in every core class when we are missing history. And just due to numbers and different demands on us by student needs, we weren't able to meet that. But that's still something we'll strive for, but we did not meet that last year. And if you go over to student performance, one of the things that Mr. Storms will be talking about is our efforts with restorative practices. That was something we implemented last year. We have to remember that last year in our transition was brand new. All of our students were new to us, and half of our staff. So we're still working to rebuild that culture. We essentially became a new school. So we didn't meet it, and that's not bad, but it's something we're going to continue to work on. And so as in governments where we attend professional development, one of the things that Mr. Storms and I do is attend the professional development conferences to work on our leadership skills. And as being part of the leadership for our South Central Principals Association, that has helped me in creating connections and getting better ideas. I also attend a middle school group at least every other month of just middle school principals that meet in Sullivan. So that's something we have done throughout last year. So as we go in now, we're going to go into 2018 and 19. And our first goal that our teams have come up with, you are given 2 sheets of paper. One of them is a chart, and the other one is the placemat. But go to the chart, because all of those numbers are too much to put here for everyone to understand. But we have one large goal for our building, and that is to improve the reading capacity and skills of every student in our school. How are we going to measure that? That is going to be measured through the NWEA/MAP test, and that is our Northwest Educational Association measurement of academic progress. And the MAP does not stand for our Missouri assessment. It is that measure of academic progress test that we are taking now. And so we are going to use those scores, which is called a Rjhs score. And a Rjhs score stands for a Rjhs unit, which is a measurement scale developed to simply for the interpretation of a test score. It is a nationally normed score, so we can know how our students will do compared to every student in the district as well as their peers of their same age. So what you see on that sheet that was too big to put there but on the table is the Rjhs scores broken down by language arts, reading, math, and science. We gave the test in those areas. We piloted the science assessment. Because of the way the data was uploaded, I was also then to break the data down for you and for us into areas of special education. So we will use those, and those are the scores that every teacher will look at when we gauge our progress towards next year's school improvement plan. Actually, we'll know how we did in May whenever we take our final test, because we will do this assessment 3 times a year. So I wanted you to see that, but our big goal that we are working on, that we have worked on through August, September, and October, and November, has been working on reading. Our teachers have gone through instruction with some of our own teachers, as well as Liz Condre from the South Central Regional Professional Development Center, to learn instructional strategies that they can implement everywhere. We have reading strategies being implemented in SHOP, in Gateway to Technology, in PE, all sorts of classes. And so our teachers they decided this together, and they have embraced it, and they're running forward with it. So we're excited to see the progress and the goals that we're hoping to make. But overall, we want to improve our score 3 points as compared from fall to spring. And actually, that's September to May. That's what we're going to do. Yes, sir.
So, point of clarification.
Yes.
Why are the target points to increase, not all 3? Help me understand that.
It will be. So on that sheet of paper, you have our scores for fall. And then there is a projected score. So we are able to receive a projected score right now stating that where kids scored at this moment, that by the end of the spring, through all of the work that our teachers do, they should end up at this point at the end of the year. I took those, found the report, averaged them out, and it comes up, it is nationally normed. It goes right along with the chart that Mr. Hounsome did, because while he likes numbers, I do too, even though I was a history teacher. So I ran them just so I would understand them. And those are actually nationally normed scores and percentages of increases that our students should be at the beginning and at the end of the year.
Okay.
So that sheet will be kept for me to track our progress in January and then again in May, and then I can decide whether or not we have completed or met the goals at that time. Does that make sense to you? Okay. And so we have a lot of other goals within that, but that is the biggest one. We will always look at our MAP scores and the NWEA in every area that we are able to. When we go into Goal 2, teachers will increase their technology integration skills by attending the Rolla Public Schools technology training as evidenced during teacher evaluations, district documentation of technology professional development, and self-assessment. We now have everyone trained in technology, but technology changes so fast that technology training needs to occur on a continual basis. So we have teachers that we put in training based upon what we do just throughout the district, but then our teams usually want more, so they get specific individualized help with Mrs. Spurgeon and Ms. Strain whenever we need it, and we dedicate professional development dollars to that. We also, I think the biggest thing that we do there is, since we met having all of our devices within our classrooms, my goal is now to maintain all of the technology resources that we have within our core classrooms. Not just purchase them, but now maintain. We've actually achieved that. This is our success story. And I've left 3 years here for you because in the beginning we had a lot of iPads, not very conducive to a lot of typing within Google. But we do hold 2 sets of iPads. About 66 are still in the building at this time. We have transitioned from laptops, as you see there, over the years to one, and it is a checkout that we use, to the addition of Chromebooks throughout our building. So we have 692 Chromebooks with about 610 students at this current time. And so you see a total mobile devices of 759. The desktop devices available for students, we still have a computer lab, and we still have individual sets of computers for students to use within classrooms.
the checkout laptop, is that students check it out or
Teachers.
Teachers check it out?
Now, I have an individual Chromebook in my office that if a parent comes to me and says, I had one say, our computer is down due to a virus, they need to do some work, I unplug my personal Chromebook and hand it to them and say, use it because they get to log on. I mean, nothing's on there. So sometimes mine goes home. My goal is, as I'm looking into right now, finding one to put in the guidance office for checkout measures for kids. One won't be enough, but it's a start. Goal 3, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Storms.
Thank you, Dr. Fulton. In Goal 3, I want to be talking about the goal of improve the climate and culture as evidenced in the 10% reduction of discipline incidents and an increase positive responses in teacher, parent, and student survey data. This is our year number 2 of Rjhs version 7.8, and it seems to be a lot smoother this year, and a lot of things which we for the first year that we didn't quite anticipate. I don't know, those of you that have a real good memory might remember me telling you about the fact that all the 7th grade kids wanted to run to lunch last year on the first day of school. So we've been able to anticipate and adjust a lot of those, which is really helping. But one of the things we want to do is, because we're not where we want to be and we're not met our goal, is we want to reduce our discipline numbers by 10%. We want to try to affect the culture more positively. So the ways that we have chosen to do this, and we have selected several things to help us with this. The first one is something which I may have mentioned to you some last year, which is the use of restorative practices. And some of you have probably heard of that, some of you have not, so I wanted to make sure I expanded on that. Restorative practices it's a whole school relational approach to building school climate and addressing student behavior. It fosters belonging over exclusion, and it's become very popular on the East Coast, West Coast, and it's also gotten quite large in Texas. Lots of schools have, like for example, Oakland Public Schools, several others have drastically increased their student success rates and et cetera, because there's lots less exclusion and problems. So we have adopted some restorative practices, and we're continuing to use those. Right now our teachers use restorative questions in class to resolve issues related to incidents, or whether it be interactions with other kids. And we have put into place this year a restorative piece that if a student is struggling in the classroom and they're not staying on task, and the teacher has gone through the steps of redirecting them and refining to them what they should be doing, then they can give them a Chromebook, let them reflect in this restorative piece, and we're trying to gather some data for us that should be useful and be more proactive at avoiding classroom disruptions and problems that lead to relationship issues, which that is the key thing with restorative practices, is to teach kids how to keep working relationships and how to respect each other better. We also still have our pyramid of intervention. I think most of you are familiar with that, so we didn't put that in the handout this time. We had one for Dr. Creedy if he'd been here, because I didn't know if he was familiar with that. But we have that also to help with our students in our school environment to respond to the needs of various students and keep the culture and the environment positive. Dr. Fulton is going to throw in just a little bit about how parent involvement is continuing to be an engagement priority.
One of the things we know at our level in version 7.8, as you said, is that kids push parents away, and we want parents in the building. So we are working hard every day to not only involve them, but to engage them. One of the things at Rolla Junior High that we're awfully proud of is when we rolled out our online registration, 70% of our parents registered online, which tells me 70% of parents will now check the parent portal. Our parent-teacher conference numbers we had 53% show up, But many, whenever we call them, well, I just checked the grades on the portal. So I wish I was able to pull those numbers to actually see how much parents are engaging with that medium and that way, because that is also now reflective of our technology. You know, they don't necessarily have to show up to see us, and then they communicate with teachers via email. So that has been a really good tool for us. I was talking with a parent the other day, and she says, well, I checked the portal. She says, but I don't know how to use that Google thing. And I said, well, we have a meeting Monday at noon, and during her lunchtime, she's coming in to get a one-on-one tutorial about how Google works in Google Classroom. So I think we will be hosting probably in March another technology night, and we'll invite Mrs. Spurgeon and Ms. Strain in to do a technology refresher with our parents regarding Google and those types of things. But we have a meeting every month, and this coming month happens to be our dance. It is December 8th. If you want to see about 400 kids dressed up, you're welcome to come and chaperone with us. It is 6 to 8 on Saturday night, December 8th. So, but that's something we're going to continue to strive for as we go through. And one of the things Mr. Storms is going to tell you about that I'd like to brag on for a minute is Beth Huff is a principal at Fulton Middle School. She is a Rolla grad. She was tweeting out her home visits with kids. And that's something we started this year and Mr. Storms had arranged, and I'll let him finish it up. But I want to say thank you to him for doing that, because that's helped with our relationship piece with parents and students as well, as far as in that parental engagement involvement.
Yeah, I will tell you a little bit about those home visits. First, before I go there, I wanted to touch on student clubs and activities. This year, one of the things that we felt like we needed to do is to add more for the new version of RJH. And so we are starting Beta Club, which is a service club, and we're also starting National Junior Honor Society. And so we're trying to find more ways for kids to find a niche, find a way to fit in, because the sense of belonging is a key to success for middle school kids, and along with keeping the parent communication going. So moving on to the home visits, that was a a very enjoyable experience for me. I did some communication with the middle school, and I talked with the administrators and counselors over there, and I wanted to go see some kids that would just be simply at risk of making a good transition to the junior high. And it might be for various reasons. It could be for an ongoing health issue, it could be for family environment, could be for other things, but they helped me with that, and I went out and visited several of those students before school started, and it was a lot of fun. It allowed me to listen to their questions, to meet their family, to already be on a first name basis with them when they come to school, and it has allowed me to start out the school year with transitioning kids, a group of them, which can feel comfortable interacting with me. I check on them each morning. They can share in the cafeteria, and it's been very much a win-win. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But I have been some places I've never been in the district, and I've seen some things that I've never seen. So it's been very eye-opening. But I look forward to continuing it next year. But it has helped a lot of our students make a connection and see school as more of an important priority for them and themselves. We also continue to investigate and implement a plan for social and emotional learning. Right now, Dr. Fulton is heading up a committee of administrators, and we're investigating ways that we can look at our current alternative program and possibly make recommendations or look at things which would be beneficially added to it or revised in it. And so that is ongoing, and you will hear about that later when that proposal is completed, when that study is completed. And then with the purposeful transition to the junior high, we do what is called the orientation transition day, a week before school starts. And the 7th graders get to come in the morning, and mom and dad get to drop them off and come back and get them after lunch. And it's kind of like a half day of school where they get to go around the building, they get to familiarize themselves with it, the schedule, the locations, all those stairs, everything, and learn about the departments, learn about the teachers, meet them, various programs. Then they get to have a picnic lunch and get to meet the principals and ask questions. And it's very successful in helping our kids make a good transition, and those first few days go much better. We miss just a few kids, and the rest of them are already aware of lots of the unknowns, the fears, the expectations, which we've been able to clarify and to allow them to explore and ask some questions about. Dr. Fulton, you can click me on to the next page to goal 4. Raise proportional attendance rate, 3%. Attendance has been a goal in the RJH School Improvement Plan as long as I can remember. We reached our goal last year, but we want to continue to reach our goal this year. And some of the ways in which we do that are listed in the bulleted items here. I'm not going to touch on every one of them, but the second one goes back to some of the things which I was mentioning. We're looking for trying to provide more places for a kid to fit in so they can find their niche and they can find something that allows them to create, explore, and belong and connect with RJH. We currently have a teacher that's working with some students that she's invited to work with her after school, and these students just need they need somebody to work with to help them kind of discover themselves and nurture their own self-esteem. But they have been doing some really neat activities, and they actually created those nice little pin-ons, if you were at our Veterans Assembly, were put on all the veterans. And so just one of the little things that we've got several teachers that have identified that they need to look at every kid every day. We have attendance recognition and celebrations. Right now our character team is planning those for the rest of the year. They're looking for various large prizes for go for drawings. If your attendance, if you qualify for the attendance reward celebration, our kids really like and enjoy social events. So one of our things which we commonly do is attendance celebrations during Pride to allow them to have some social time and some technology time. The PE staff has teamed up with me this year and done an excellent job. We started this last spring. We felt like we were really struggling second semester, and I went to Coach Terranova and Coach Ballinger and talked to them, and they were receptive to doing this. And they're two unique individuals in the junior high school. They see every kid every other day. And very few of our other instructional staff sees all the kids in the building. And so they come by once a week, and we make a report, and then they take a look at kids that have recently been absent. They visit with them, try to build relationships with them, and we're now working on our goal with that is to continue to expand that. We believe it's been beneficial, but we're going to go ahead and use Google and create some data and spreadsheets and see how it's helping to address some of our kids that reach 3 days of absence and keep them from moving on up into a larger amount. So then the last thing, we do use attendance contracts. We were for our students that are really struggling and we're needing to get on the same page with both them and home. We recently did some of those. Dr. Fulton and I did some and utilized that time of being able to get with those parents and meet with them at conferences. And those are very beneficial. They allow us to define, what's in the best interest of the student and the goals and be on the same page with the parent. And hopefully those will continue to help us to reach our goal for attendance. Do you have any questions? Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Fulton.
I will point out that our goal, we are held to a 90% of our kids are here 90% of the time. So when we hit 91.6 and we've made our goal for the last 3 years, I just decided to push it a little bit more. And so this is something that we address in our leadership meetings every month as well. This isn't just, Mr. Storms' issue. It's something that we're all dealing with and all of the teachers are invested in. So. And goal 5, to finish up, this is our governance goal, and this is where Mr. Storms and I work to improve a lot of things. In my survey every year, Communication comes in as my lowest area, and I'm really not sure why. We send out Friday notes and we send emails, but I think a lot of that is in the perception of the person that's reading it, but it's something that we're always going to strive to work on. And we also want to continue to communicate not just with our staff, but all stakeholders via social media and phone calls and letters and school messenger and phone calls home. One of the things I've started this year is a positive referral system. So it's really funny when you call a really good kid in and I'm like, you have a referral, and the look of fear gets on their face. And I'm like, let me read it to you. And you read it to them and you see the relief and the smiles, and they're like, hey, do that to my parents too. So we call them and kind of freak them out. But it's a lot of fun, and it actually makes your day when you get to see them smile and you give them a little certificate of awesome. And so that's something we're doing as well. The professional development, we have continued to improve not only the leadership of Mr. Storms and I, but this year we have been increasing the leadership capacity of our leadership team. We have attended some workshops at the RPDC, the Regional Professional Development Center, with John Lewis to talk about how professional development can improve student achievement. We're going to go through some peer evaluation type things with our staff this year. Data says that if peers evaluate each other and provide feedback, that you will see an increase in student achievement. So we'll be going through that with Mr. Charlie Malum this spring. And so that is something we've been working on, as well as Mr. Storms and I have undergone that training as well. And so these are the things that we're doing to improve ourselves as we go and improve our school. We want to thank you for all the support that you give us every day and what we go through. The last page is the flip chart. This is a placement chart, and flip your page over. You will see that is 18-19. It is significantly different. This one has the boxes on it, so you can see the difference. That is everything that you have just seen aligned to our district school improvement plan. Any questions?
Anyone? Lots going on at the junior high.
Lots going on at the junior high.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great things going on. Wonderful.